Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and welcome to Nintendo Shack 121. Tonight, we're going to talk all about the latest Nintendo Direct that happened today. Animal Crossing fans, you're going to want to stick around. But before we do that, please allow me to welcome back the blandest of explosions. Hey, Garrett, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me back, man. You just messaged me out of the blue, and I was like, sir, you caught me on a good night.
Very good.
Of course, I'm going to drop in.
That's good.
So here I am.
And before we get to our special guest, I'm going to make her sit there on the chair. I'd like to thank our producers. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh, the Bonesaw Borboni, Chris McElfresh, Coach Mo, Kyle Heyman, Paul Calicote, Michael Masick, and the Egg Shin, Zach Bradshaw, and Devin Tyus. Thank you for supporting us over there at patreon.com/PSVG. You guys are the ones that keep the ship afloat, and you guys are the ones that are making the house party a thing. I can report that Kevin has booked his ticket for the house party, so that's absolutely happening. He will be there. Going to be a lot of fun, and we've got news. I'm sorry?
Fantastic.
Yes, and we've got some news to share about that soon. I'm working. I keep alluding to, I'm trying to tease, trying to build a little hype. I'm working on some announcements, and I'm trying to figure out the best. Well, one, we kind of have to, I've got like 6 people doing things. I got to line it all up, right? It's got to be in order.
Right.
And I think what we're going to do is I think I'm going to take over an episode of PSVG. So it'll be a PSVG Prime with me and Kevin, and we'll just talk about all of it like in one podcast. We'll just spend half the podcast talking about all this stuff. So we're going to have Patreon changes, which I've kind of alluded to and talked about here, new show announcements, which I've been teasing for a little bit, changes to old shows, which will, you guys, none of this should really be a surprise. And then we're going to unveil kind of like our plans for the house party and what we're looking to do day to day. So that's coming down the pike.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you very much. That lovely voice is Rebecca Forrest Minish here in the Nintendo Shack.
How you doing?
This is amazing. I'm so excited.
I'm way more excited. I couldn't be more honored to be here.
That's
I'm a big
impossible.
fan of the show.
It's impossible. You're not more excited than me. I've said this. I said it a bunch about Garrett, and the same thing rings true for you, actually. When Caroline said she had to step away from the show, so many things, a couple names came directly to my head. Rebecca, Garrett. You guys are first on my wanted list, so you guys are marked folks. Watch out on what you wish for. You might end up doing 200 episodes of Shack.
Oh, great.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Before we get into today's news in This Week in Nintendo, we do want to have Rebecca answer the questions from our patrons about joining Shack. But before we do that, a little housekeeping in line. If you're listening to this today, it's Friday, the day that this comes out. If you're listening to this live as we record it Thursday night on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube, tomorrow night, Friday night, we are carding. We're going to start a little later. It's going to be like 9:30 or so. We're going to have some drinks. I'm going to be streaming. I might do a video call. We've done that in the past. It's kind of worked okay. It usually crashes things. We'll see. But we're definitely going to have the Discord up. So if you're a member of the Discord, jump into the chat. The chat will be streamed live over our stream. Come hang out with us. We've already tweeted codes. Like, it's all out there. Go to the Discord. Go to the Twitter at ShackLife. You'll get the code. I'll put it in the notes. So if you're listening to this on Friday, the day it releases, you can get the tournament code in the notes. Come cart with us. Come drink and drive. We're the only folks that... Go ahead.
We'll be doing one round of Mario Kart, huh? Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Sure. I'm down for that. But yeah, definitely drinking, hanging out, having a good time, rolling in a nice Friday night. New host questions. Are you ready, Rebecca?
Ready. I am absolutely ready.
Okay. What is your history with Nintendo? What console started it all? And what makes you love Nintendo today?
So I don't remember a time where I haven't been playing Nintendo. I was probably about 3 years old. I got a hand-me-down Super Nintendo. a bunch of games. Got my Zelda: Link to the Past, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World. I played that. I played that a lot with my dad growing up. We got a Nintendo 64. The rest is history. And I've followed it ever since. I've had every major console, every major handheld. The Zeldas keep bringing me back to the consoles, and then all of the other games.
I do love the Zelda love. We definitely share that fascination with each other. And I'd just like to say, before we get into your next question, you're an absolute superstar. I told you this, but everything you do over at Twinfinite on your Twitter, I mean, you're it. You're like a Nintendo personality that you must follow. You got to follow Forrest Minish on Twitter. She's got all the great artwork and all the great friends, and she's always got I would say, I'm going to say how the best way to do it, like the best ideas. Like you always come up with like the best thoughts and very timely. You know, like we have Animal Crossing Direct, and she's quick to be like, hey, did you notice that so-and-so is going to be there? These folks are named so-and-so. And it's like, no, Rebecca, I did not notice that. Thank you so much for informing me.
I just love talking about Nintendo, and people listen. I don't know why they listen, but anyone who will listen, I'll talk to them about it.
And you ask a bunch of questions too on Twitter, which is really nice. It's like, hey, what's your favorite type of Pokemon or whatever? I'm like, you know what? I want to get into this conversation. I want to see what other people have in mind, what their other favorite Pokemon
I think
is.
it's the community. Cool. I love to hear what other people think.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's almost if that's what you really love, then it's like you should probably have a podcast where you can talk about those things and people can hear you. That makes sense. That's crazy.
Makes too much sense.
Caroline's in the chat. She says, sending my love. Can't stick around for live, but we'll listen tomorrow. So she says, hello, Rebecca.
Hello, Carol.
And the second question from Kevin, why the hell would you want to subject yourself to this?
Again, I mean, I just love talking about it. I love, talking about it with the community, hearing everybody's thoughts. Somehow people like listening to my thoughts, and just keeping up with what's going on in the gaming world.
It does. Boy, it flies fast, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There are times when I have the podcast and I sit back and I go, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Like there's so many podcasts, like everybody's doing it, right? Like it's easy to feel that way because all of my friends are podcasters. It's like we all share this hobby. But then you realize like a day like today, there's been so many news things that have come out today that I'm not even actually sure what to believe. And that's why it's great to have a podcast and some friends you can come to. You can sit down and talk about it and really, no, let's catch you up on all this stuff because not everything is always in a direct. It's not always that easy. There's fine print. There's things on UK websites that don't match Japanese websites, So we're about to get into that, but I'm so excited to have you here, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's turn it to you and let's get into This Week in Nintendo and let's talk about today's Animal Crossing Direct. Now, I got to tell you, I live streamed it earlier. I was talking all about all the things. I said all the things. And then we've had this rain come in. Temperatures have plummeted down to 33, 32. We're expected to go below freezing around 4 in the morning. And my phone has been blown off the hook since 3 o'clock. I don't even think I even remember anything. At this point, I'm like, I remember this, but it almost feels like yesterday.
It was packed with so much information. I watched it when I was at work, and you're right. There was just so much. I feel like there was a lot going on Twitter. People were talking about things that I didn't even remember from it. So when I got home, I went home and rewatched it slowly so I could pause it and kind of, just take it in. There was a lot of stuff in it. It was broken into 3 parts with Tom Nook walking us through it. The first part was a refresher on the Getaway package, where a lot of it was stuff that we knew already, but there was a lot of new stuff too. I think that was the longest section. They kind of started us off with the first kind of new feature was choosing your island layout from several maps, which I think is a new one. Before in other games, it just was randomized. If you really like the layout, you would have to reset.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of interesting that now we can pick our layout from the get-go. They showed a lot about how the island changes throughout the seasons, all of the different trees changing, the bugs, the snowmen in winter. Then they had this thing called the new resident orientation. Remember how they said that we're starting off with 2 villagers in the very beginning? It's going to be, I guess, an orientation where you set up not only your tent, but you can actually choose where your animals' tents go as well, which is also new. I don't know. And I think that's also, that's kind of dividing people because some people like the idea of controlling where everything goes, but then other people like the randomness of it.
What do you think?
I like it, I think, just because I really want to design where everything goes on the island. I don't mind. I'll pick.
My initial reaction from this direct overall, and I'm sure we'll break into all the details, but the amount of customization that people have now over their own islands,
More
I
than
think-
any other game.
I think is going to. I mean, it's now kind of in like almost like a Minecraft Mario Maker like space. Like you're gonna have full customization over the layout of your town. And I was saying it earlier, I'm not going to do it, but I'm very excited to see what Animal Crossing diehards do with like themed villages and all the lamps and all of the sidewalks and everything matching and everything looking like it's supposed to be. Like I imagine that's just going to, especially with the like the land customization, which is a whole other thing you said earlier had to be randomized. Now, even if you choose the map, if you don't like it, you still have some control over even how that is. And then that's pretty.
That part blew my mind.
Yeah, and it's like it's crazy because at first glance, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm so surprised. Like I'm not really surprised.
No, that part surprised me.
Like, but I mean, it should be like the expectation, right? Like this is where games are today. Like we can do map customization, like it's not that big of a deal. But to Animal Crossing fans and franchise, it's a huge deal. It's a very big leap forward in the quality of life improvement, which is, I think, that was my takeaway from today's direct. Like the quality of life improvements are everywhere in menus and in customization and in moving and land, all of it. Like it's just that and then some. They've basically done it looks like they've thrown as much as they can into that aspect of the game.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking forward to with this new Animal Crossing. Like, you heard me last time. I'm a huge, I wouldn't say downer, but I don't see much attachment to the Animal Crossing franchise. And then seeing this direct, it's like, hey, we're gonna add customization on top of customization, and you can actually like carve your island. You can make bridges. You can make pathways. I'm like, this is the kind of game that I really wanted. And the best part for me actually was objectives. I don't know if you guys are going to go more in detail about it. But
like with the Nook Miles?
Yes.
Yeah, the Nook Miles. That's what it was.
Yeah, I like that too, because now you're not, I don't want to say aimlessly, because definitely like the fans of the series, they're not aimlessly doing anything. But I think as the more casual player, like I'll use my experience with a 3DS game. I played for 60 hours. 60 hours is a long time for me. 60 hours is not a long time for the average Animal Crossing fan.
No.
Right.
But the reason why I played it for 60 hours, because after 60 hours, it's like, I've done it. Like,
Yeah, what do you do?
I've made a house, I've built a sidewalk, I've cut the tree, I've got the fruit. Like
And
it's
then
like
you're good.
It's like I've done it. These objectives
You're just
now,
internal debt with Tom Nook over here.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
but now with the objectives, no, I'm right there with you. It's like, oh, there's like a daily thing. And I imagine that they'll be swapping them out like seasonally and things. So you'll kind of always have something to do.
Well, see, I was a little bit confused last trailer that they gave us, I guess, in September about the Nook Miles. I thought they were just achievements. They went into a little bit more depth with it this direct, where now you can exchange them for rewards. There was a whole menu where you could exchange them for clothing. It looked like upgrades to like your tools. They talked about something about like the Nook Mile tickets to travel to islands, which I guess is similar to the island in New Leaf. So I think it's not just like the to-do or like achievement type thing. There's actually something that you can get out of it, which makes me more interested in it.
It's rewarding. It pays you to keep playing. It's like, and I think that's, for me as a casual fan, I think that's the hook I didn't have. Like I jumped in when they did the expansion and I played that for about a week, and it's like, I've done it. I did the camp, but that keeps you playing. It's like, no, go do this part and this part and this part, which I think is fantastic. Yeah.
They talked about the rescue service on the Nook phone, which is kind of fast travel to get back to your house really quickly, which I didn't realize the first time when I watched it. Somebody actually said on Twitter that the theme that was played during that was Rossetti's theme. They never showed Rossetti. But apparently the theory is that that's Rossetti. The helicopter apparently it's like shaped like him or something.
All right, who's Rossetti?
Rossetti's the one who, he was the little mole with the construction hat that.
Oh, that annoying little bugger.
If you turned off your game without saving, the next time that you played, he would come and yell at you.
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes. Until you had to reset your game without saving. So because they said, it auto saves this time, we were kind of wondering, well, what's Rossetti's role going to be? It sounds like it might be the rescue service.
Cool. Well, I'm glad he switched careers on that then for this new game.
They talked more about like upgrading from your tent to your house. It sounds like there's going to be like the storage in the house and a lot easier way to decorate in the house. It's going to be more of like a drag and drop menu rather than like putting an item
Drag
down.
multiple items at once.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. They were like, move this there. I was like,
And it all looked, to me, honestly, I think it all looked just so clean. The way that, like the interface and everything.
the house looked beautiful. Like the
house looked beautiful.
Yeah. Multiple rooms, all the different stuff. I was like, this is great.
They talked about the smartphone, the Switch Online app, and how that's integrated. The thing that caught me off guard, we were kind of wondering about how patterns would work. Not only do we have the QR patterns again, but we can actually use the ones from the 3DS. So there's thousands of patterns out there already that people have been using all this while in New Leaf that now we're going to have pretty much day one in New Horizons.
And Happy Home Designer.
And Happy Home Designer.
You can just do like a Google search, like an image search, and all those QR codes pop up, and you can just scan them from your phone, like right there. This was
I'm glad that
probably
they kept that.
this was probably like the biggest surprise of the direct for me, and it's again having seen it, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. But we haven't seen so much with this app since basically what, like Splatoon 2, right?
I think there's a Smash one.
Oh yeah, but it's like you get to view videos. Like, yeah, that's not a thing.
I thought they forgot about it.
But yeah, so I actually kind of thought maybe it was dead and like something they forgot about. But this actually has a lot of functionality in the sense that you can type. So instead of typing on the Switch and tap or using your controller, go left, right, and all that, you could just swipe right into the game. And they kind of paired it with like these messages that you can send to people on your island and to your friends and your friends list. You can do little telegrams, and then you do I did a fair enough of typing. I remember typing quite a bit in Animal Crossing, so I was like, that's a big quality of life improvement. It's something I will actually probably use the app for. I'll sit there with my phone, as I usually do when I'm playing a game, especially a game like Animal Crossing. Go around, dig a hole, check Twitter, run over there, catch a fish, look at Discord. It's very easy to like kind of keep that going and just type right in. I was impressed, surprised, and as a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, I feel good. I know it's not much. It's not worth the subscription by itself, but it's something that I actually think I will plan on using that I wasn't thinking about before. So hats off to them. I think that's fantastic.
They ended up going into the future development plans, which when they first said that, I thought they were going to talk about DLC, the way that was phrased.
That's what I thought too.
It wasn't.
So are we sure though? That was my initial reaction in the Discord was like, are we sure that we won't have to get an update to start unlocking all the things, or will that roll out in time as they have in the past?
My take on it was that it's going to be the refresher stuff that they talked about in the beginning was the stuff that's going to be like the first few days in the game. And then maybe like, weeks, months later, as you start doing more stuff, these things will start happening.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
so they're kind of like free updates or something like that.
Well, see, that was the thing.
Yeah.
So in Animal Crossing, typically, as you start to build, your house and you pay off your loans, you start opening up, the museum and the shoe store and all the other things. But it was strange because they called it future developments, which like is in line with kind of how they were presenting the direct, which makes me think it's just baked into the game like it always is. But also based on what they said then in the Q&A that followed, like I'm like, or is it an update? Like, is this not actually there yet? And 3 months from now, they'll have an update and be like, Animal Crossing version 1.02. Now the shoe store has arrived. Like,
no. Is it synchronized with the day?
Yeah.
Like real time, right? So that's what I'm thinking. It's just like you're gonna play the game, and later on, I think it's already in the game, and they're just saying, hey, there's gonna be more buildings as you play the game more. It's just gonna be later on in time, and then we will have other updates with like holiday events, and I think that's my interpretation of it.
yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah. To me, it sounded like when they talked about the future updates, every time they said like free updates down the line, they had little icons of like the different characters who have the holidays.
Yeah.
Like the bunny for Easter. I think they might update the game for holidays, maybe as a way to prevent people from time traveling to do the holidays.
Yep. And then to be clear, that was my takeaway too. My takeaway was like, this is just as you play the game and start to advance, these will roll out. But it did make me think about it, which is why I brought it up. I was like, maybe it is. But yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there. And I actually really like that with the holidays, because there exists a chance, and this is kind of what I was alluding to last week when we were talking about Animal Crossing. Hopefully, with these seasonal updates, they'll change from holiday to holiday. Like, they won't always be the same.
I would love
It'd be
that.
really cool if they were drastically different. That would be even better. So not only do we kind of curb the time travel and all of that, shady stuff that Animal Crossing has, but also like every season, every update, like Animal Crossing becomes the living, breathing game it was always meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what like software updates and patches and things like that make that more attainable than ever before.
You're right. And then that would make it more incentivizing to like go back and play, like you, instead of just experiencing Toy Day one time, the next year maybe there's something different going on.
Yep. Or like I was thinking, my favorite event in Animal Crossing has always been Halloween, trick-or-treating. How cool would it be like if every Halloween event like it was like a different theme?
That would be awesome.
So you play Animal Crossing on Switch for like 5 years, and like one year it's like Boo themed, everything's ghosts, and next year it's like witches, and next year it's like cats, like something like that. Even as simple as that, it could be even very similar but just different, and it would make everyone feel special, and that would be, again, for a casual player like myself, that's an absolute reason that I would at least check in, periodically throughout the years instead of either trading in my copy or just stop playing it altogether.
Totally.
Yeah.
They talked about in the future with animals moving into your island. Not only might they move in randomly, but in some situations, which I don't think they specified. I didn't get it even the second time that I was watching. In some situations, you could even invite animals to move in.
You can do that with the amiibo, right?
Okay.
I think it might be with the amiibo.
Yeah, so with the amiibo, if you have the character cards, you can scan them, and then you can ask them if they want to stay.
Will they always say yes?
We don't know. But hey, better reason to have amiibo cards. Like go get the cards so you can keep asking them, I guess.
Well, then that's the next question is, are they going to reprint the amiibo cards? Because I have a feeling all of the prices just shot up.
Etsy, go get yourself some black market amiibo cards like myself, and you're taking care of it. It's like $4, not a problem.
Just go over to Bobby, and he'll give you a whole pack of freaking amiibo cards. Good Lord, that man.
We had our first look at Isabelle and other characters like Laybell, Harvey, Celeste. Did you see Celeste's magic wand? Did you see what that was all about?
No.
Not really.
I don't. I'm not as good an Animal Crossing fan to know them all by name, so I'm just
She's
gonna say
the owl.
no. Yes.
red owl.
Oh,
Okay, yes.
Okay.
She said something about a magic wand, and then they showed the character who had the wand, and then there was like the circle of clothes around her, and it looked like it was kind of preset clothes, like a way that you could kind of set different outfits as presets that you could change into quickly.
That makes sense.
They also had that with the tools. They showed new characters. We have the new turnip seller, Daisy May, the new fishing tourney host, CJ, who looks like Chip Jr., and then Flick, our new character who hosts the Bug Off. So they're just new characters for all the same events, who look like their other counterparts. I don't know. You talked before about the changing terrains, which was a big one. They talked about that there.
I thought that was huge.
That part was the biggest
yeah.
for me.
Okay, so I want to make sure that I wasn't misplaced. Like when they showed that, I was like, "This is new. Like this is big time Animal Crossing update. You can make your own waterfalls, make your own ponds, make your own paths. Like you can actually customize the entire thing exactly the way you want it before anything else, and that's really really cool."
I want to know what the limits to that are going to be. Like, are people going to destroy all of their rivers? Are they going to build a whole moat around their house and trap people? Like,
Are they really gonna try to break the game?
is it unlimited how much you can change the terrain?
Or if it comes at like some sort of cost.
Not just cost, but like, can you only have so many blocks of land or something?
Ooh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I mean, you could just do like land bridges across everything and never really build a bridge. I mean, I don't think why.
Or make the whole river, the whole island a river.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But the other thing I was wondering about that is they talked about eventually you would get a construction permit. So I don't know at what point in the game are we going to have access to that.
Yeah.
Why do I need a permit on a stranded island? That's my
Dude,
my question.
Land zones, like, man, you gotta move. There's erosion
You gotta
control.
control that?
There's
Yeah.
Climate crisis. There are checks
I
and
should know
balances in place that you have to adhere to before you can build.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The last part to it, the third part, was the frequently asked questions, which I think is a lot of stuff that we knew already, but they still didn't answer a lot of the questions I had. They talked about sharing the island on one Switch with up to 8 people. They talked about the amiibo support, which I guess that part was new.
We can visit each other's islands online, our friends' islands.
Both
Right.
online and locally.
But we're not resident, was my takeaway, right? Like you can visit, but it's somewhat temporary.
Yes.
I can't just come and go whenever I want.
What do you mean?
What I'm really asking is, can I go and dig up all of Caroline's flowers? Like if she invites me once, can I just log in randomly and just wreak havoc, just wreck shop?
No, I don't believe so. But you can designate somebody as a friend or a best friend. And if they're a friend, they can't use destructive tools like shovels and axes. And so if you don't trust Caro, then you would make her a friend and not a best friend.
I like that it make them foes. That's what Nintendo should have done. You have a friend list and a foe list, and like everybody gets to see it. That would be.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been funny.
Gonna be like Hunger Games, jeez.
Man.
And they show that you don't even have to have the person on your friends list to invite them to your island. They have the dodo codes, so that like maybe there's somebody that, I don't know, that you don't have on your friends list for whatever reason. I can't think of why you would use this, but it sounds like it could be helpful.
They had the little plane, right? The dodo plane. Am I the only one that saw like the Wii Sports plane? I was like, oh my god, it's back! It's a little like Wii Sports plane that you jump out of and like resort.
The pun on their names, Orville and Wilbur.
Oh, the Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers.
Pilots.
I was very shocked when you picked that off. I was like, oh, okay.
I called that weeks ago.
I told you. What did I tell you at the top of the show?
And then they mentioned the save data thing, which I didn't think they were going to get into.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Okay. So they talked about, on the Direct, they talked about no backup save restoration data, but it will come later. Right? For Nintendo Switch Online members, you'll be able to, like, basically contact Nintendo and be like, my Switch broke in half. And they'll give you, like, this one-time use. We saw some details come out, like, right after the Direct. And I think we've retweeted Wario. It says somewhere on some website that you can do it one time, like data recovery backup. But then this other update came out, which I'm way more excited about, that I was just chatting about here in the last bit. There's a little graphic that they put up on Nintendo UK. I'm going to read it because they talk about it. It's 2 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, they talk about save data cloud functionality as basically like emergency backup is kind of what they're talking about. The next paragraph, this game does not currently support the ability to transfer your save file from one Nintendo Switch console to another, which we've talked about, one island per console. We got it. However, a function specific to Animal Crossing New Horizons to move users and save data to another console is planned later this year. What does this mean? Like, does this mean that I can hop between my light and my TV system? Does this mean that I can system transfer my entire island to another system?
That's what I'm reading. That's what I'm reading from this graphic, that the first part is you're not going to use the servers. You're not going to use the Nintendo Switch Online to get any of your
cloud saves.
Exactly. If your console breaks, we will figure out a way to get it from the server. But other than that, you cannot. Right. The second paragraph is, this is a proprietary transfer save that we are developing for Animal Crossing. And that means that's what I'm reading, that I can transfer from my dock Switch to my Switch Lite. That's what I'm reading. So, you know what? I don't want to get my hopes up, though. Because, whenever I get my hopes up, Nintendo surprises me and disappoints me again. So I'm just going to wait until they actually fix the problem. And I'm still going to assume that I can't transfer. So,
I wouldn't assume that they're going to fix a problem because they still don't have a solution for Splatoon or Pokemon.
But on those games, you can transfer from console to console.
Yeah.
You can't do cloud. So, and there's like a lot of confusion. I even the replies to my tweet,
I think that's the problem.
People are saying no, emergency backup only, and I'm like, that second paragraph explicitly says.
It clearly says that.
Yeah, console to console.
That in the Direct, then.
There lies. So like I so badly want to tell you that they realized they had a problem. They're going to work on fixing it from this graphic alone. But what you just said is 100% the reason why I have even the little hesitation that I do, because you're absolutely right. If this was in here, why not announce it? It makes me think that somewhere, like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in marketing is as confused as the rest of us are. Because there's been,
Yeah.
I was saying, this is meant as like a joke, but it's actually somewhat true. I feel like I really need a PowerPoint or a diagram. Like I need somebody to give me a walk with directions. Like if you go here, you can transfer to this, but not that. Like I'm so confused, but I'm real excited because this is what I want. I don't care about, to be honest with you, I don't want to say I don't care. We pay for it. We should have cloud. That's modern gaming. At the same time, I don't care about that as much as I care about, I want to carry my light on the go and I want to play on my TV at home.
I just think all of their solution for it is kind of silly because nobody cares if somebody cheats in Animal Crossing. You have an argument for not having it in games like Splatoon or Pokemon, fine, whatever, I don't care. But for Animal Crossing, I don't care if you have nice furniture, you know, a little bit earlier than I do. If they're doing all of this just to prevent us from having like a little bit nicer furniture a little bit sooner than everyone else, or to like duplicate bells or something, I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think that's the reason though.
What's the reason?
I do agree. I think the reason is that they want to, they're almost, I don't want to say forcing, but that's subsequently that's the effect is forcing. I think they designed the game. Like when you remember, like the game wasn't built yesterday. Game has been in development for years. When they originally designed the game, I think they had local co-op like in focus. They wanted you to share an island. Like that's the thing that they're trying to push. They want to split the Joy-Cons. Remember what the Switch was when it was released at the time. They were all kind of pushing that. So I think they wanted to push that shared environment. And as they've gone along down that path, this has come up as an issue. And I think now that they've said, well, you can't do it. And the outpouring of people that are like, what do you mean I can't do it? I have 3 systems. I bought all these systems. Like, I want to play on all of them. They're like, oh, that's like an unintended consequence. They're like, ooh, yeah, we should have.
I didn't know there was going to be spoiled Nintendo fans having 2 or 3 systems.
So, I mean, I think it's a matter of just, this is how they designed the game. And that's not necessarily, that's not a bad thing. It's fine for them to do that. But they do need to, like, I think they do need to find a solution because a solution should exist. I shouldn't have to choose my light versus my TV console.
They need a solution and they need to communicate it because I think everybody's confused.
Everybody is confused. Even like I posted the graphic and it is clear as day what it says. And I have 10 replies to that tweet. 8 of them are all different opinions. Like they're all different. Like nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
That's why I'm waiting. No,
I don't know. I just think if we can't transfer to another, the second one that you posted does make it sound like we can transfer to another console, like just if we upgrade. But if that wasn't the case, I think it would dissuade me from upgrading. Like if they come out with a Switch Pro down the line, it's almost like it's the opposite of their intended
which is, and I think that's the thing. It's like it's so weird because it's so anti what they're doing. They keep releasing these Switches. They released a new Animal Crossing Switch. They have a Coral Switch that they just announced, getting into news. They just released this pink one. And it's like, why would anybody buy another Switch if they have to start all over in this big game of theirs? You know? So that's why I think they're going to let us do it. They're going to find a way. And that's what I was saying on our podcast over the last couple of weeks is I was stunned when they're like, you can't transfer system to system. Like, I get the reason why. Profiles and all that. But at the same time, like you're omitting a system feature. It's not a game feature. This is a system to system feature. You know, they're basically turning that off for one game. That just stuns me. And they're like, well, if you transfer your save to another console, then anybody else on your console, they lose their progress. I'm like, yeah, I get that. So, you know, it's like, and duh, like I know that they're my consoles. Of course, I know that. Like that's the reason why I transfer them, and that's how Pokemon works. Like the game rips off of one and goes to the other, and you log in, and I mean that's exactly the same thing. So I was a little stunned by this all the way, you know, from the beginning. Coach Mo is in the chat. What's up, Coach? He says, I have no idea who these 2 people are. We should listen to Nintendo Shack more. They've already introduced themselves. Say hello to Rebecca and Garrett, possibly the future of the Nintendo Shack. Hello. Okay. Anything else on Animal Crossing? Anybody with any major takeaways or anything? You feel good, better, worse about the game?
I have always been feeling good about it, and I'm feeling better.
I think this game, I mean, it showed a level of polish that I thought was missing from E3. Like, I definitely, that first unveiling, I was like, oof. Like, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, and this was the more. Like, this is...
I think a lot of people didn't realize, and I didn't, I mean, it was hard to know if that was the whole game that they showed at E3 in September, or if that was just like the first couple days. And now we know it's just the first couple days, and there's so much more, there's a lot more to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm way more excited about this now. And guys, it's just looking at it, I didn't realize how freaking gorgeous this game looks. It looks very smooth. It has a lot of nice textures, and on top of the customization, all that's great. And then when I see that game looks crisp, clear, it's like, dang, yeah, I want to play that game now.
Yeah, it looks good. It's got all the little daisies, all the little weeds, all the little trees blowing in the wind. The night stuff with all the little lights. They had like those little lantern things out. There's like a flower. What was that thing? I'm
not exactly sure. I just liked how the lighting was. So
it was nice. It was very, very nice looking. Okay. I also have some other news this week in Nintendo that's not Animal Crossing related, and we will start with one that I missed last week. All right, so I do need to apologize for last week. I was coming in hot and I was like super tired. Basically woke up from a nap. I was just basically an autopilot. I left all kinds of things off, most notably Pokemon Home launched last week, and they never even talked about it. and it wasn't until like after I got over, I was like, oh God, I should have mentioned that. Yeah. So Pokemon Home launched on mobile phones. It launched on your Nintendo Switch, and I've used it. Have you?
I have. I've transferred all my Pokemon from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home, and I have not touched it since. That's pretty much my experience with that app right now.
There you go. Everybody was whining about the subscription fee, the annual fee, and that's what I was saying. Nobody needs an annual fee. Pay them the $3 for the month until you need it next year with the next Pokemon game. Like, it's fine.
Even though I'm a sucker and I've already paid for the year and $16, so I feel obligated.
Anyway. Same.
I'm obligated to catch all the Pokemon on 3DS, including all the old games, including Blue, Red, Crystal. Let's just go, man. I'm ready to catch them all.
That I wanted to talk about. But before I do, read just the quick notes, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is all just coming from memory. You get a free trial Pokemon Bank on your 3DS.
Yes.
You do not get a free trial Pokemon Home. You do have to subscribe to that, even if it's just for the month. You got to give them $2 or $3 to use it. And then you can transfer. I did like that they let you transfer entire boxes. I was a little concerned that I was going to have to one at a time all these Pokemon. And it took
be a slog.
2 seconds. All the Pokemon.
Yeah.
All the Pokemon from the 3DS over. That's fantastic. And I do want to say that I like how they have them all broken down like by region. And you can like hop into every folder and see which ones you have and which ones you don't. That almost kind of made me go, like, I'm not going to go catch them all. I've never been that Pokemon player. But I think in the future, if there's one that I don't have, I think I'm going to catch it just because it's like, it gets you in that video gamer mentality. It's like, I got all these empty spaces. I got to check the boxes, right? Like it gets you in that mentality. And I was looking at it, I was like, man, I got a lot of empty spaces here. I got to start catching more Pokemon. So in that regard, it's good for them because I think, like I said, going forward, I'm going to be like, instead of like running away or just beating the Pokemon, I might whip up my phone and be like, wait a minute, do I have this one? I don't have this one. I might as well catch it now.
There you go.
For anyone who's an ultra completionist, they also now have ability dexes and move dexes. Did you notice that in the app?
I did not. I haven't been really interested in too much with the dex. And so what are these specifically?
The ability and move dex? It's just all of them.
Just all the moves and abilities.
If you have it registered in your home.
So basically Bulbapedia on my phone now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really nice.
It is. Yeah.
I'm really enticed to actually go back to my 3DS now because it's been a while since I played Crystal or something like Blue and Red version. So I think I'm going to whip out that 3DS, start collecting Pokemon from there, and start transferring to my bank and then to home. I think
old Pokemon games make their way to Nintendo Switch Online? And is that a good thing to do to maybe bridge the gap between releases?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think for me, it's like more of like childhood memories of like just, okay, I have more motivation and reason to go back to these old games on 3DS and going through those games again on the go. And catching them and make sure I put them over. And hopefully as time goes on, I can actually put them on Pokemon Sword and Shield And so that would be a great thing to do as well later on.
I guess the better way of presenting it, Rebecca, you might know this question. Are there Pokemon in Pokemon Red or Gold that you can't get in like a newer version? Like they're unavailable?
That aren't in Sword and Shield?
Yeah.
I think there's some that aren't able to be transferred into Shield.
Yeah.
I meant like not able to complete the national dex. Like if you wanted to complete Pokemon Home and you wanted to have one of everything, can you do that completely from Sword and Shield?
Oh, no.
Not from Sword and Shield.
Right. No. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sorry, from Sword and Shield and Let's Go, like both of them.
No.
So therein lies my point. If you've got this Pokemon Home thing and you're encouraging people to collect them all, and that's kind of the focus like with this whole thing, I think it makes a lot of sense to maybe bring some of those old ones forward.
I don't know though, because now they've added the GTS to Home,
Yeah,
so
true.
You can still get them even if you don't own any of the games that they've been in.
Touche, ladies and gentlemen. That is why she is here in the chair. Very, very good. Okay, some other news that I think is very important. XCOM 2 and Catherine Fullbody was rated for the Switch by the Korean ratings board. Catherine Fullbody has me somewhat excited. I like Catherine. I have it on 360, and I wanted Fullbody. Like when they were doing all the remasters, like I really want this game, but I didn't want to buy it on Vita or PlayStation 4.
Right.
So
And I saw on sale during winter break for like $25. I was very close to buying it on PS4.
it's going to be $40 on Switch.
Wait a second. Yeah. And then I saw on Switch, I'm like, I'll buy $40 to play on handheld. I'm
Great
down.
game. Great puzzle game. And then the other one was Warface. I'm never going to not get over saying that game name. What a name. Warface.
That's an interesting name.
Has stealth released on Switch this week. You can battle across 50 multiplayer, player versus player, and co-op player versus everyone or environment raids. It is a free-to-play shooter. And for a system that doesn't have like Call of Duty or really any major military tactical shooter, to like use the term, right? There's no Battlefront, there's no Battlefield, there's no Call of Duty. Like this fits the bill. I played it. I have not played as much as Jason. I was really excited for Jason to be here tonight because he played a slew of it. And he was posting all these videos about it. I played like the first 4 missions, and I got some kills and everything. And I gotta say, it's fairly competent. It's a competent shooter. It's good, free to play. You get to like, I'm not multiplayer guy, so it's like my least favorite version of Call of Duty. But the raids help. Like the player versus everyone, like you just can jump in, run through a level, try to get as many kills as you can, see who gets the most. I'm good with that. That's fine by me. I think Overwatch is better, but this is fine. It's again, it's free. What's not to like? Like it's totally free. They have the in-game
Can't
transactions. I didn't need to buy any. I to be honest with you, I don't even know what they do. Like I didn't investigate it that much. I was like, I'm gonna play until they ask me for money. When they ask me for money, I'll stop playing. But they haven't asked me for it yet, so that was fine.
So is it online only? This game? Okay.
I couldn't get in the first 2 days. Like the server was loaded.
really?
And it does the thing, you know what? I'm going to say here's a little thing that grinds my gears in video games.
What grinds your gears?
I call it the Destiny thing, where the UI is basically based off of a mouse, and you get that circle cursor, and you've got to drag it over to click the button and drag it over to...
Why would they do that on
I hate
Switch?
that. I really, really hate that. I don't know why games have suddenly... But like Destiny did it, and then I'm not sure if you noticed, but like Assassin's Creed has adopted it too. They do the same thing, and I'm like, I hate this.
It may just be easier for programmers to just do that if they want multiple
It might
ports.
be.
I don't know.
It might
I
be.
don't know.
So
I'll check it out too. It looks like it's something that you can come in and quickly play and just get out whenever you want to. It's similar to Overwatch, so I think that would be good.
Good. Okay, so we are at almost 50 minutes, so we're still doing good on time. So let's get into a little what we've been up to. Rebecca, what you been up to?
Since Home came out, I've been trying to finish the Galar decks. I already have the living decks that I transferred from my 3DS to Home, so they're all living there now. And I kind of slacked on catching everything that's in Pokemon Sword and Shield, like all the new Gen 8 Galar ones. So I'm trying to go and catch everything so I can finally have the shiny charm.
I bought the expansion.
Already?
I did do that, yeah. I went on... I sold my Nintendo 64. I rearranged my entire basement last week. To be honest with you, I got a guest coming. You guys know him, but he's going to come. We're going to try to do like a live recording, kind of like a house show warm-up maybe. And I was like, I got to rearrange my basement. So we're rearranging my basement and kind of moving things around and really just doing spring cleaning, was getting rid of things. And I had like this little desk over here with this old TV on it just for my Nintendo 64. And I was like, it can't, like, there's no room for it anymore. It was one of those things where it's just like, I can't do what I want if it sits here. So I was like, I could box it up like I do and put it back in the attic. And I was like, I should probably sell this. Like, you know, like I hate boxing things up because at that point it feels like it does me no good. It does me no value. So I sold it. Turned it all into gift cards for Nintendo Switch, just loaded up my eShop account so I could buy some indies and stuff. And that was the first thing I bought. I was like, well, we might as well go ahead and get this pass. So,
you know, you're going to get it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I got the Pikachu outfit and I gave away the Eevee outfit and I will wait for the expansion. But that's the whole thing got me back in. The day they announced that, I was like, well, I got to go buy my Pokemon copy back. Go get my copy of Pokemon back. So I'm back in.
You sold it now just to buy it back.
Oh man, it was like 8 days later.
Okay.
It was like and I did well. I sold it for 48 and I got another copy for 35. So,
yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I'm still saving money.
Man,
Eventually
you're
I'll
playing
sell
the
it for
game.
35 and get it for 18. Like we'll just keep going down the line.
Down the chain. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rebecca. Please continue.
No, but that's kind of all I've been doing.
Okay.
Just going through and trying to fill in the decks. That's about it, honestly. I'm trying to just kind of bide my time until Animal Crossing comes out. Trying to finish any game that's kind of left over right now.
Well, that's a good segue because I finished To the Moon.
I love that game.
I've played a couple games this week. I beat 2 of them, but I finished To the Moon. And we already talked about it a little bit in the Discord. I won't go on too much about it, but I will say that I think it's probably one of the most touching stories I've played in a video game, and definitely one of the most touching stories I've played on Nintendo Switch. It was a fantastic game. I didn't like the gameplay as much, and I don't want to say that like as a bad thing. It's just like walking around frustrated me at times. You try to walk upstairs, but you kind of have to like go up and left, and because it's old. It's like a Super Nintendo game, you know, and they have like the tile-based movement with the D-pad, so you can only go up, left, right, down. You can't go diagonal or anything like that. So I don't know, maybe I've just I've grown impatient as a gamer in my years, but that definitely noticed. It's like, oh, this is getting a little annoying.
I think it's more of a story than a game.
It is. It definitely is. And I really love the way, I think I said this, like the structure of the plot. Like the writing is great. I'm so glad I just said that because it just flashed back all kinds of memories, things I wanted to say. So many amazing references in this game. There's like a How I Met Your Mother reference in it. And I was like, oh my God, he's talking about the Matterhorn. I know what that is. He's talking about Barney. And like, there's so many of them. I don't remember them all. I should have wrote them all down. But there's definitely like 1 or 2 in every chapter. And it's like all of this little like nostalgia or like pop culture references that really like warm up. There's no voiceover. It's all text based, but it warms the text. It makes it worth reading and makes it worth paying attention to, because I was actually playing the story, reading these words and chuckling, laughing out loud. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, my wife's like, what are you doing? You look like a psycho over here laughing at your little game. Art style is really well, like it really paints the picture the right way, but the structure of the plot was my greatest takeaway, because the way that they unveil the story almost backwards, you know, they kind of give you like this thing and you're like, oh, okay, but I don't really understand it. And you keep playing and you will, and you keep playing and you will. And like, it just kind of keeps compounding on that. So I really like that. It was fantastic. It was a great little game. The reason I bought this game is one of the writers that I follow on Twitter, I think he gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. And I was like, wow, that's a really high score for a game that I've really never heard of. Apparently it's an old PC game.
You played it on Switch. I guess it came out recently on Switch. I remember they said that they were doing that.
Yeah.
I played it on PC.
Yeah, I had no idea it even existed. And you told me in the Discord that there's a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
haven't
if it's
played
come
the
to
sequel.
Switch.
I don't know.
I'd have to imagine.
I got it for
is.
$1, so I'll get into it on PC.
There you go.
I like story simulators, and what you guys just described about it is like, yeah, that sounds like a good old Friday night game.
Oh,
just
It'll
to
make you
stick my
cry.
teeth in.
It'll hit you. It's a feels game.
Oh man,
It's
if
one of
it's like
those
Gone
games.
Home or like Edith
You'll-
Finch, I'm
you'll
so
cry.
ready.
It's better
Okay.
than Gone Home.
Oh,
I mean,
that okay.
I don't like reviews. Like, I've come off of that. I don't like scores. But if I was being paid to review a game like that, I would give it a very high score, because I absolutely agree with it.
Okay.
The story is very good. Very good. One of the better stories that I think you can experience on Switch, period.
Mhm.
So, really, really good. The other thing that I played and beat was the Fire Emblem DLC Cindered Shadows,
Nice.
the Ashen Wolves house. If you guys saw that, I was posting all these pictures of my lights with the Fire Emblem. It looks so great. I love the DLC. I think the DLC is great. It is exactly what, if you, I'm not sure how, I mean, both of you have always listened to the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys know kind of how I felt about Fire Emblem, like coming out of Three Houses. There was a part of me that felt in the main campaign that a lot of the maps were like, they were easy to be cheesed. Like I never felt challenged a whole lot, not necessarily just in tactics, but like every map was like, keep your group together and you'll win.
Yes.
Like they didn't separate you a lot. There weren't a lot of battle conditions. And those are things that I really like about Fire Emblem, make you think. And they present you and it varies up the gameplay. It changes it up a little, mix it up. And that was one of the things I didn't experience a whole lot in the main campaign, except for like at the end and like the big kind of the big highlights, like the intermission, like the final battle at the monastery and things like that. Like they mixed it a little, but mostly it was very samey. And the DLC is not that at all. The DLC is the opposite. Every map has its own thing. It's all like some maps are tile based. Every map does its own thing completely. And one map in particular was giving me quite a bit of frustration. I lost a couple hours of gameplay trying to beat it over and over again. The first time I played, I won't tell you which one it was, but the first time I played it, you take on a lot of waves from a lot of different angles. So I was like, all right, I'm going to camp out right here because I got these tiles, I got my team set. And then the Death Knight spawned like right on me. Like just in mid-map, he's just like, I'm here, you're dead. I was like, what? So that really bothered me. But you know, it taught me a lesson. Get on the move.
Yeah.
Like you can't stay there. You got to keep moving. And the whole thing was really good. I think the story is okay. We had a question. I don't know if I put it in here or not. Let me see. I'm not going to spend the time to read all these, but one of the questions we had was, now that I've played it, is the DLC worth it? So to answer that question, I think you need to ask yourself if you're really story focused player. Like if you're asking me, does this DLC expand and add to the story? I think it does minimally. It's not it doesn't change the way you come away feeling from the game. But if you love Byleth, there's a lot of things in there about her mom and things like that gets fleshed out that you don't get in the main campaign. So I think it's worth playing. It is interesting because we got the expansion pass for 20 or 25. I don't remember. I bought it at launch. And this is it, right? So like we got some outfits and we got some quests, but this is the main little thing. And I think there's 8 or 9 chapters. I don't remember how many I played, but I beat the whole thing. And I did it like it was one of those experiences where I basically did it in a day. I sat down Saturday morning about 8 a.m. I finished about like 12. Like I was eating and things in between the day, like I'd go outside and come back, but it was just kind of, I'd suspend the Switch and then come back and keep playing it again. I think total playtime, I think I clocked in about 10.5 hours. I know a lot of people have said they've done it like 7. I think they're just like skipping through everything. Like, yeah. And I was on one battle for a good 30, 40 minutes and I got game over and I didn't bookmark it. And one of the things actually, now that I'm saying that, reminds me, is it is interesting on the main menu on the hub screen, there is a category for side story, side mission. But that's not where you go to continue the DLC. So it's like that's where you go to start it, but then it's in the continue, like the main game continue, on a separate tab.
Ugh.
So I got confused. Long story short, I lost progress and I had to redo it. I was not happy, but it was fun. It's good, really good. I enjoyed the DLC.
I'm looking forward to it.
So, Garrett, what have you been playing?
Well, guys, I've been struggling with a couple of games. So first off, I've been playing Fire Emblem as well. I'm trying to finish the main campaign, and I will go to DLC when I can. But let me tell you, hard classic on the Edelgard route, it is difficult. It is
hard classic. Period is difficult. I don't think it matters what route you take. Exactly. I did not play any of the game on hard classic. I don't do that to myself.
So you have to be very meticulous how you play it and how you build up your characters. I'm on chapter 17, which is like, I don't know, like the second to last chapter of the campaign or whatever.
That sounds right.
And let me tell you, it's it's crazy left and right. I have to be aggressive, but at the same time, I have to keep my group together because one hit and it kills a character. I have to rewind. I have to do a divine pulse charge and rewind. So I've been struggling a little bit with that for this week, but hopefully I will get it done this weekend. But I've been chugging along on stream with Fire Emblem. I
I'm
cannot.
excited to see
Yeah.
that last battle with you because it is
Okay.
It is something. You're about to get kicked in the teeth.
Oh, great. So I'm struggling right now. You're telling me I'm going to struggle later. This is
That
gonna
final
be-
battle is something else.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get there. It's just I can't even imagine this level too because there's so many surprises. You got these soldiers and they're turning into monsters, just straight up on the field like all the time, and I have to be so aggressive to kill the soldiers first.
The final
And,
battle
yeah.
is just like all of it.
Oh, great!
Just
This
think
is gonna
Lord
be-
of the Rings Castle Siege. That's it.
Mhm.
Like it's all coming. It just waves.
Great. So I've been playing a little bit of that. Also, I've been playing a little bit more of the Thronebreaker, the Witcher card game.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to play it as a like commute to work, and actually, that's probably not the way you should play it. Simply because this is a narrative-based, story-driven game, and at the same time, it is card-based combat with Gwent. And these games are hard. They have a particular way of going through and making sure that you have a certain strategy to win the game. And when I'm on my way to work, I only have maybe 15 minutes or something like that during my commute, and I cannot finish like one Gwent card game in order to really focus what the strategy is. So I'm struggling a little bit to get into this game. Even though I really love Witcher, I love Witcher 3, I love Gwent in Witcher 3. It's just, I think the spin-off Gwent card game and this Thronebreaker, they're trying to add a little too much complications into the cards, I think. They've mixed up so many strategies with it. Normally you have 3 rows with Gwent, and then this time they have 2 rows, and you can switch between the 2 rows, and it doesn't matter what your cards are now, and it's just a whole, I don't know, it's getting too specific for me with this game. So maybe I'll try it during a weekend, maybe a stream to really just focus in on this game because I do love the lore. I love the game a lot, but yeah, I would not. It's not a pick up, come in and quick play for 10 minutes or something like that.
I mean, you lost me the last time you explained the game to me. I was like, yeah, I'm never going to play that.
Yeah,
But
so-
it does remind me that The Witcher just got like a huge update. Kind of a little graphics enhanced pack and all that.
integrated save files
With PC,
That
right?
yes, that's the
That's
most
awesome.
enticing thing for me. And when I just saw that, I was like, I'm getting it on Switch because I will play it on the go, and then I will go back to my PC. I'll transfer it to my PC and look at it in glorious 1440p, 120 frames.
That's the life. That's the Animal Crossing life that I want. I want to play it on the go on my light.
Like that.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. We're an hour, so we're going to ask one question direct from you, and I'm just going to pull one from the chat here from Piper32. Any ideas what Yacht Club will announce on the 26th? Should be worth mentioning that they've announced another little direct. I'm sure we will see maybe a release date for that Shovel Knight Dig thing that they were looking at, and the only thing that I would say is hopefully a new game, like a new game, like something completely unrelated to Shovel Knight.
Like a new IP.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Shovel Knight when it came out. I bought it on 3DS. I bought it on Wii U. I bought it on Switch. I had the treasure trove. I have not beat all the expansions because somewhere along the way, having played this game on multiple systems, multiple years, like I am Shovel Knighted out. Sorry, Yacht Club, I just don't care anymore. Like I'm just done. Like I need something else.
Yeah, I would look. I'm looking forward to maybe possibly a new IP. I wonder if they're going to stick with 2D still. I don't know if they have the chops to do anything else other than a platformy 2D. So maybe a 3D game. I'm not exactly sure. But I am curious because
Virtua Shovel Knight Fighter 3D.
there
Just
we
like
go.
Spencer.
I wonder if they're gonna actually announce any games that they're publishing because aren't they publishing?
They are.
A game already.
They're publishing several games. They've taken on a few little indie
okay.
projects, I think.
Yeah, so it might be a cool mini announcement of like indie games that could be announced.
Man, I'm
from
all
there.
for that. I gotta say, if I can brag a little bit, I just bought an iPad and an Apple TV,
Yeah, I saw that.
Because Daniel in our Discord has been going on and on and on about this arcade stuff, and you guys know how much I love the indie stuff. And they get all of it for this Apple Arcade, man. They get all of it for $5 a month, like all of it. They get Shantae early. They're getting all the things early. Like the Artful Escape is coming early, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to be on that. Like, and I love Google and all my Google things, but I'm like, I might buy an iPad just to play, like just to play indie games. I totally will, absolutely. Like, sure, give me early access to those because I don't want to keep waiting for all of them. I feel bad. And I think not Image Inform, but I think Yacht Club is doing some of that stuff over there too. So that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I know they're getting all kinds of it. Like, I'm sorry, Piper, this has nothing to do with the Yacht Club, but like they're getting like real exclusives. Like Apple Arcade's exclusives are better than Stadia's exclusives. Like they are really trying, like they are really getting some stuff. And I was like, just kind of feel left out. It's tax time, a little money to spend,
Right.
Treat myself.
I guess Apple's doing a really good job in that gaming sphere. I haven't really paid attention because I'm not an Apple user.
They're not doing but they're not like, here's the big exclusive Call of Duty game. Like they're not doing that at all. They're like, nah, like here's Shantae a year before anything else gets it. And I'm like,
that's insane to me.
But you know how so as somebody who bought the pop, like me and Caroline both got the Shantae pops.
Yeah.
Like you getting Shantae that much earlier, I'm like, yeah, I'll buy an iPad.
That actually makes me want to look a little bit into the Apple Arcade because I never really paid it any mind. And I didn't know that about the exclusives.
So like Google instantly tried to do the same thing, right?
But
theirs is just not as good. Like none of the games. But like Nintendo has all of these games, like Cyanide, Wild Heart. Like how is Nintendo not doing this? How do they not have like an indie pass? An indies pass.
They should.
$5 a month. Right, you get Golf Story, Shantae, Shovel Knight. Like do that. Oh,
I would buy that.
This is my greatest idea ever. Nindies Pass. TM Nintendo Shack. I don't even want money for it, Nintendo. Just a free Nindies Pass. That's all it takes. 3 free Nindies Passes for me and my crew. You can have the idea. Man, does that sell itself. That is good. Sorry.
What if they made it part of Switch Online?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe they would. Like when they first, were rolling that out.
We got Tetris 99, and that's it.
Didn't we get another thing?
Games. Did we?
Dead Cells is coming to Japan. You sent me that.
That's more of a demo, though.
But we gotta try. We got Mario Tennis for like a month.
It's like temporary free to play. It's not
That's
like
true.
a demo that you have it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, it would make sense, and I think I said that on some episode in the past. Why wouldn't they just put like an old indie game just in there? Like, hey, you get Golf Story for free now. Like,
they could do it with Golf Story now if they're making Sports Story.
Right.
Make people want to play it.
Exactly. And like when Silk Song comes out, like Hollow Knight is free for all of you to play. Like I think every developer would get behind that. And it shows like these Nindies, they sell better on Switch. Like Switch has a market for the indie game.
And it would put more value behind that Switch Online that they keep saying they're going to put more value behind, and I'm waiting for that more value.
Here's the funny thing is you don't have to do it like monthly. You could just do like 3 a year, and it would totally make it worth it. You could do 2 of them if they were good. It was like, hey,
I know people that still play that.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, but like if they're just like, hey, Katana Zero, just free. And then they should do one like every year, like right before it renews. It's like, hey, now you can play Mario 64, Pokemon Red, and Katana Zero. Thanks for your $20.
Yeah.
That sells itself.
That's the dream.
I'm with you.
That's the dream. That's good. Okay, guys, we got to get out of here. I can't take these folks' time all night long. But before we do, since you guys are the new folks, please let our listeners know where they can follow all the things that you do, starting with Rebecca.
So you can follow me on Twitter. I talk all the time about Nintendo and video game stuff. I'm at Forest Minish there. I'm a contributor at Twinfinite if you want to see what I'm up to with writing about more video game stuff. I stream every once in a while. Again, it's all at Forest Minish. Come talk to me about games.
I like it. I've said this for a long time. I've said it to her face, so don't feel bad saying it again. Rebecca's a superstar. Like I absolutely could see Rebecca doing amazing, great things in video games. She definitely has a following. She connects with the folks, and I'm so excited to have you here, even if it's just for this episode. But it's not. It's not for this episode. So
happy to be here,
Garrett.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Blaine Explosion, and you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Blaine Explosion. And I'm going to be streaming more this weekend. I promise. This past weekend has been very, very busy. I will continue Fire Emblem. I will finish that game. I'm stubborn when it comes to my strategy games.
I will finish.
I will finish it.
Hey,
And then
that'll be you have beaten more games than Bobby has.
Hey, you're not wrong. But anyways, I'm also going to play actually the Langrisser demo. That's the strategy RPG remake of Langrisser 1 and 2 that's about to come out in early March. And I'm excited about that game too. It looks interesting. It looks Fire Emblem-esque. So I'm ready to, sink my teeth into it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, that'll do it for us this evening. Thank you for checking out the show, and we'll see you next week in the Nintendo Shack. Good night, Kooplings.